radio program with Jessie Ware, the English singer from her debut LP Devotion. We heard 110%, a song which is on my countdown of singles of the year in 2012. She played a headline show in Melbourne last week and is touring as part of Laneway, and so blew through town and came into the radio station to talk to me on Monday. So for the next 25 minutes, here's Jessie Ware. Hi, Jessie Ware. Welcome to Melbourne, to the Triple R Studios. Although you were here last week, right?
Yeah, it's very bizarre. We've kind of been going back and forth, but I'm happy to be back in Melbourne. I really loved it the first time round.
So you landed, and then did you go to Singapore after that?
I didn't do Singapore. That's where the Laneway Festival started. I was in the States, so we joined Laneway Festival in Auckland. So in New Zealand for a couple of days, and then we've been doing the Australian leg.
And what's it like travelling around in this touring caravan?
It's really fun, and actually it feels quite exciting. I mean, this is really new for me to kind of do any kind of touring festival, and everyone seems like they're seasoned pros at it, and I just want to make friends with everybody. But it was a bit like summer camp on the first day, everyone kind of not saying hi to each other but kind of seeing who's there. But now people are starting to chat to each other.
I think that seems like everyone's reaction to it.
Really?
Wanting to make pals. I've heard lots of summer camp comparisons.
Yes, exactly. I've thought, well, I'm hoping that I'm going to be best friends with Palisa by the end of it.
So did you actually ever go to a summer camp in your youth?
I went to a kind of summer camp, but it was like this hippie thing called woodcraft. And it was, you used to pray, it was kind of if your parents didn't want you to do brownies or cubs. Do you have brownies here?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was the kind of the proper, and this one was done, woodcraft folk was done by like hippies, and so you'd like bless the trees, the pine woods and stuff. It'd be like ish kish kosh, we're one blood, you know. You'd have to go strong like and supple like it was very bizarre now that I think about it.
It just sounds like, I'm sure brownies and scouts and cubs, those things probably have like really strong Christian connections or something. This is like the pagan variation.
Yes, exactly. And yeah, we used to go to this place where, you know, you'd be in your bunk beds and you'd go and get one with nature. I was never very good at it because I'm a Jewish princess. So,
when did music making enter your life? Like, how old were you? You know, when did you first start any kind of communing with sound?
I sung when I was about 10. I got my first solo at the Christmas Carol concert. And just then I kind of started just being in the musicals at school, and that made my mum very proud. And then I kind of forgot about it, didn't try and write my own songs, didn't think I had anything worthy enough to say. And so I went to university, forgot about it. Then my mate just said, oh, would you like to do backup for me for a radio show? I'm singing my song live, and I need you just to do the chorus, like backing me. So I took my day off work and then like kept on taking days off work to do festivals with him. And then he asked me to go on tour with him to America.
So wait, who is this?
Jack Pignate.
Okay, sure.
So, we went on tour to America, and I'd quit my job, and then I was regarding myself as a backing singer. And then I got in the studio with Subtract to be like a dance vocalist. Was really up for being a dance vocalist, really up for just singing a little bit on a dance track. And then I got signed, and now I'm a solo person.
So what did being a backup singer teach you, I suppose?
I guess it was a really nice way of kind of experiencing live performance and not being at the forefront, but, you know, really seeing how crowds vibe off a performer. And Jack was such a great performer. And I think it was also just to understand the ways it works, the kind of methods of touring. And also I got to see loads of the world with my best mate, which was amazing. But I think it kind of taught me just to kind of, you know, I was doing harmonies and things like that. I guess that was kind of good practice, but it was mostly just like seeing about how you can have a relationship with an audience.
Were you thinking of it as a form of study, like while you were going through it? Were you thinking taking notes for what you believed would be a chance that you would get to be a solo performer?
No, because I just kind of thought I'd never be that person. So I was really happy being the backing singer. I was so happy to just be singing. But I think, you know, subconsciously maybe taking notes, you know, the ways that you want to do it. But really, I was just very happy to be in that position when I never thought I was going to be able to sing.
A debut record, you know, it's almost like making you a debut in society, I guess, right? It's like a form of introduction unto the world.
Yes.
So how did you want to introduce yourself, like represent yourself as a solo artist? And I guess what did you want, for want of a less monosyllabic word, to say, I guess?
I didn't know what I wanted to say. It was really just trial and error. But I knew that I wanted to make people to kind of want to kiss and dance a bit to my music. I wanted it to be romantic. I wanted to make a conscious effort to step away from being the dance vocalist and make music that was more centred around a song and the voice rather than maybe the production. But the production is also really important in my album. The production and the vocals have like a really good relationship together, like so that it's kind of, you know, they're in touch with each other, so it's not kind of just me like belting down the mic.
Sure. And then being laid on top of.
Yeah. I just kind of, I think it was a conscious effort to kind of step away from being the dance vocalist. But, you know, and that helped through doing videos as well, where you kind of, you know, introduce yourself in that way too. So I kind of made quite a grand entrance with my first video where I was kind of voguing. And I was like, what am I doing? I didn't think I was going to be doing this. Like, it just kind of just happened that I remember thinking about the idea and being like, look, I really want to like allude to Sade's Smooth Operator and just kind of sing in a bar, but let's do an empty bar. Let's make it slightly David Lynch. Let's make it just a bit over the top. And then the night before the first video, I was like, why have I done this? Nobody's going to be in this video. So literally, I'm in it for 3.5 minutes. It's going to be so boring. And I had a whiskey, fell down the stairs. Once I'd fallen down the stairs, it was all okay.
How much did you think of that as being part of that introduction that we spoke of? How important do you see like the visual representation of your music as being circa 2012?
I think it's important for me that I wanted to have quite a classic image so that it didn't feel too... I mean, I'm never going to be wearing hot pants. I just don't have the legs for it. But, you know, it was never... I didn't want to be too in fashion right now. So I kind of just wanted to look comfortable in what I'm wearing and it to be quite classic, so that it could have maybe been in the 80s, could have maybe been in the 70s, 90s, now a bit futuristic maybe with the double bun. I don't know, like it's a bit of everything. I'm just greedy and I just wanted to hopefully stand the test of time so it didn't look too dated.
Why choose Devotion as title for your record and like as totem, I guess, for the songs?
I think it's the first song that I wrote with my producer, Dave Akumu. And it's the first song that really kind of made sense to me that like, that's what my sound, that's what I've been trying to do and that embodied it all. So for me, it's the beginning of where it kind of made sense for me. That's why I put it at the beginning of the album and that's why I called it the album, because that's where I believe I started my kind of artist music. Oh, that didn't make sense, but you know, that's how I started, how I wanted to be received. And I also think Devotion's very feminine and passionate, and I could imagine like an 80s diva having that as their title. So yeah.
Was that a difficult thing to find, I guess, your musical identity, so to speak?
Yeah, I guess, because, you know, I'd gone from being a backing singer where I had no musical identity to then dance vocalist, so you're helping somebody else's musical identity, to then me kind of knowing what I loved, but then having to make that decision. It's like choosing a menu, you know, choosing what you want to have for dinner, and you've got all those options, and you go, well, I really like that, and I really like that, and I'm really indecisive. So I kind of just tried to combine as many genres as I possibly could into my sound.
So did you give thought or pause or something to putting out music under your own name? Like, did you consider, you know, doing a project, having a project name, or like... Oh,
what? So like being LaRue instead?
Yeah, or anything like that.
Yeah, I didn't, because I guess I struggled with whether I should be called Jessica or Jessie.
Oh, okay.
And then by that point, I was a dance vocalist as Jessie Ware, and I don't know, if I'd had a like name, I would have felt like I was taking myself too seriously. Not that other people shouldn't have names, yes. Like, but for me, I would have felt a bit like maybe I should have called myself Joie.
But is there more of a sense that if you're putting you're literally your own name on the front of a record, that it's somehow could be more like revealing or something, or more? I don't know. Like, I think it's quite
attractive. I think it's quite an attractive option to have a different name. So that is your persona. That is your kind of musical persona. You know, like Florence Welch is Florence and the Machine, and there's the kind of, she's Florence Welch, but she's got that Florence and the Machine thing. You know. Yeah. Natasha Khan is Bat Flashes, and I think that's it. There's something really delightful about that, and I love that. I didn't think enough about it, and before I knew it, I was Jessie Ware.
So do you feel like that your music is kind of a portrait of whom you are as a human being? Like, do you think that you're reflected in your songs?
I guess. I think so. I hope so.
Do you feel like other people will get that out of it? Will get like a sense of whom you are as a human being through listening to it?
I don't know. I think that I hope so, because they're my words and how I feel. So hopefully, but I think if you come and see me live, you'll see that I don't take myself very seriously, and I think the record is quite melancholy. And actually, I'm not that person, but through songs, I seem to be that person. So I feel like maybe you should come and see me live, and then you'll see how much crap I chat and how I don't really take myself too seriously. I worry. I've had a lot of people say to me from my videos and the music, being like, when they've interviewed me, being like, oh, I thought you were going to be like really serious and like really cold. And I was like, oh God, no, God.
Why do you think that is what came out through your songs? Or...
Because I tried to be fierce, and maybe I tried too hard to be fierce in my video. I think my videos, like, I wanted them to be quite aesthetically strong, and kind of, whether I'm attempting voguing in my first video or, striking a pose, and just, it was all kind of a bit tongue-in-cheek, and supposed to be a bit kind of joked with.
Sure, but why do you think that the record has like a kind of melancholy feeling, and
I think
other people would,
I think my voice lends itself better to melancholy songs, and I love bittersweet songs. They're my favourite kind of songs, so I think that's why.
Is that how you think of the record, as kind of essentially bittersweet?
Yeah, I think so.
You mentioned before that you hoped that it would be kind of romantic or something, or that it would inspire people to kiss. Like, is that a difficult daydream to live up to? Is that, that feels like setting yourself quite a goal?
I hope. I don't know if they are. I mean, I was in the States doing a tour, and I'd be like signing CDs after, and this girl came up to me. She was like, I just want to say thank you. And I said, oh right, it's okay. And she went, no, thank you. Your music's really improved my sex life. And I was like, okay, thanks. And everyone was like, come on, get out the queue, like you're chatting for too long, da-da-da. And I was like, look, guys, she's saying how I've improved her sex life. And then everyone else went, oh, yeah, us too. And it was really funny. So hopefully.
How do you feel about that?
Excellent. That's the best. If people can have sex to your music, surely.
I guess so. I guess if you don't spend too much time thinking about it, then it becomes a weird psychological...
I'm well up for people having sex to my music.
How do you reconcile yourself with the public or something, or like this greater... I suppose I'm thinking about the contemporary world and its desire for you to be like a social media presence, or to be like a brand manifest, or to be like this constantly accessible kind of, entity.
It's a funny old world, because, Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that, it's been extremely... The internet's been extremely helpful to me. It means that, like, I've been discovered by people in different countries that years before would never have been able to discover me.
Sure.
So I can't help but appreciate what the internet's done for me. And things like the social media aspects, I think it's a really wonderful way of being able to be in touch with people that are listening to your music. It can also be really not very nice, but I haven't had too many bad experiences. But, like, it's also quite bizarre. I mean, having Russell Crowe tweeting about me, and then me being able to reply to him publicly and say, thanks, Russ, and then him to reply publicly to me, and us to have this kind of public conversation with this Hollywood it's quite bizarre like that.
Sure, it's a kind of performance, right, in front of millions.
Yeah, but it's, it's so funny, but kind of brilliant. So yeah, and the whole brand thing, I don't really feel like I'm a brand, really.
Do you feel like that other people want that from you or something?
I don't think so. I think they just... no, I don't think so. I think that it is what it is. It's music, and then I'm a relatively happy, friendly person, and hopefully that shows if you come see me, or if I reply to you on Twitter. I don't know. It's kind of no nonsense. It's like, I like that I'm quite accessible to people, and if they want to chat to me, I'll chat to them.